Hello and welcome to part 2 of my tutorial on how to paint Hive Fleet Kraken. And we're just having a look at the model that we'll be painting. It has, like I said earlier, a white skull prime from Citadel. So I'm just trying to get my camera to focus. Please forgive my poor camera work since this is my first video and I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. So we're going to begin with the Iyanden Darksun wash. So to make this wash, what I did was I took my fine detail brush and had about 2 decent sized dips of the brush. You can see about how much I had on that one. And then I'm going to do a second one. There you go. And then of course just add a lot of water in comparison. And the reason why we're washing this model is because this just makes it really easy to apply to the model and it goes by really fast. And I also like the look instead of just using straight sepia. So I'm mixing it around here, and you don't have to be too careful about how much water you use, just so long as you have enough water to paint the entire model with what you've just made. So close to a little dish worth of paint, which may or may not contain around maybe a teaspoon of paint. But in any case, so the amount of paint that you put in that dish is the amount of paint that's going to be put on the model. And when I make my washes like this, I make sure that I use all the paint that all the wash that I made in the dish, because that way I know just how much paint is being applied to the model in total. And I think it's mostly just because of the type of paint that I'm using, but it just goes on very evenly and it's very easy to apply, which is why I like to do it like this. So the main goal at this point, like I said, is just to completely cover the model. You're not being overly careful of the scything talons, the claws, and etc. Just trying to make sure every bit of skin gets paint. That is the main goal of doing this, because the sepia just washes really nicely over Iyanden Darksun. So we're just gonna go ahead and finish up the model here and get on to the next part. So we are back with the second part of painting the skin. As I've mentioned in the first video, that at this point we're going to be painting the model, or we're going to be washing the model with sepia. And I'm just doing some weird light work. I'm not quite sure what I was thinking. Oh, I was just trying to get some better light, but it didn't exactly work out, so bear with it for a moment. Should be over soon. There we go. So yeah, we're going to be washing the model with sepia, and this is where we're going to get kind of that first set of highlights, because when we wash the model with, well, in general, when you wash the model, you're going to be creating dark lows and light dark lows and light high areas on the model, and that causes the highlighting to occur. So this is going to be our first round of creating our highlights and also darkening the lows of the model, really bringing out all the details that you want to see when you hold that model and you just look at it. And so doing these wash will really help accentuate all the details of the model. And because we did the Iyanden Darksun, this wash sticks very nicely to it, unlike just straight washing it with it. And off I go. I have this all sped up for you guys, so you have to sit there and watch me do it. And this really doesn't take all that long to do. Just just wash the model. Make sure you get a lot of wash on the details and just kind of push it around and make sure everything is nicely coated. And the wash will just kind of do its job. But don't be don't try to go too heavy because then it really just everything just becomes really dark and doesn't look all that good anymore. So don't overdo it, but don't really don't underdo it, because then you're just completely missing out on all the effects that are created by doing this wash. And you've probably seen, basically, if you're watching this video, a lot of other videos around that have people using Sepia, but not a lot of them have it with the Iyanden Darksun base coat underneath it. So you'll notice that this model has a very nice highlight to it because I did it with the Iyanden Darksun base coat underneath. So you'll probably notice that the highs on the model are very bright, while at the same time the Sepia darkens the lows for me. Now on the other hand, the highs are very bright, but the lows are also going to be brighter than if you had just simply washed the model with Sepia. So to counteract that, I apply the Devlan mud to darken up the lows. And finally, we're just having the last picture here. And this picture is of the model when it's almost completely dried. You can see how that looks, all those nice highlights and whatnot else on the model, and also the darker lows. So in my opinion, I just like the overall color that I get from it.